Hi friends, welcome to today's topic, change control in pharmaceuticals and medical devices. A little bit about me. My name is Satish Madula. I have done bachelor's in pharmaceutical sciences and master's in pharmaceutical operations and management from BITS Pilani, India. I have a total of 16 plus years experience working in pharmaceuticals, biologics, medical devices, combination products, and oncology products manufacturing facilities. The formulations I have involved while I was working in the shop floor are ampules, vials, lyophilized products, pre-filled syringes with safety device, non-sterile formulations including tablets, capsules, creams, syrups. I've also worked with drug substance manufacturing, API, both from chemical origin and biological origin. During my experience, I have involved in many audits at a capacity of front room manager, and I have acted as a scribe. I acted as SME, which is subject matter expert, walking through the QMS documents such as change control, deviation, investigations, CAPA, batch records review. I have also accompanied auditors, giving them the shop floor tours. These are some of the audits I have faced where you can see here like USFDA, MHRA, ANVISA, PMDA, KFDA, which is a Korean regulatory body, and TGA, which is Australian regulatory body. Medical device audits such as MDSAP, BSI, and supplier audits while I was working in a CMO or CDMO, which stands for Contract Manufacturing Organizations. Audits I have faced, some of the customer audits are Pfizer, GSK, Teva, Surgent, Baxter, and Eli Lilly, and many more. I've also included a link to my LinkedIn profile here. If you can connect to me and take a peek at my profile, and if you would like to connect to me, I would appreciate that. Coming to my experience, I have worked for 8 years in India, about 7 years in United States. Currently, I'm working in Canada. So this presentation is mainly helpful for the candidates who are working in pharmaceuticals, medical device manufacturing, active pharmaceutical ingredient manufacturing. If you're working in quality control or quality assurance, manufacturing, or regulatory or engineering, facilities and engineering, or EHS, environmental health and safety, or if you're working in a chemical manufacturing company which supplies excipients to the pharmaceutical industry, or if you're working in artworks manufacturing companies like artworks or pre-printed components such as leaflets, PIs, patient information outlets, manufacturing companies. This topic would apply to you as well. So coming back to what is a change control? Looking at the regulatory requirements and regulatory definition of change control, EU Annexure 15 explains change control as this. Change control is a formal system by which qualified representatives of appropriate disciplines review proposed or actual changes that might affect the validated status of facilities, systems, equipment, processes. The intent of the change control is to determine the need for an action to ensure, document that the system is maintained in a validated state. Definition per ICHQ 10. The change control is a systematic approach of proposing, evaluating, approving, implementing, and reviewing the changes. In simple words, anything you change or add or delete or modify that is considered as a change And the change control system ensures all these changes are thoroughly proposed with justification and thoroughly evaluated, and they're approved and implemented, and there is a procedure for that. So that's what change control is all about. So why is the change control needed? Change control is needed because it is a regulatory requirement to begin with, and to ensure the changes are documented, to ensure the changes are justified, and they are reviewed and approved by the subject matter experts. And overall, there is a control of the overall process of the change from initiation to the effectiveness check, and to check the robustness of the change. Regulatory perspective. So ICHQ10, which is a pharmaceutical quality system, it says in 3.2.3, change management system, innovation, continuous improvement, the outputs of process performance and product quality monitoring, and kappa drive change. In order to evaluate, approve, and implement these changes properly, a company should have an effective change management system. The change management system ensures continuous improvement that is undertaken in a timely and effective manner. It should provide a high degree of assurance that there is no unintended consequences of the change. The change management system should include the following as an appropriate stage of the life cycle. As you can see here, the requirement says we need to have a change control and we need to have an effective change management system. And why we are doing it? To know that there is to prove that we have a high degree of assurance that no unintended consequences of the change. Quality risk management should be utilized to evaluate proposed changes. The level of effort and formality of the evaluation should be commensurate with the level of risk. Proposed changes should be evaluated. Okay, I'm going to do it again. I have to cut it. Okay, that's coming back to regulatory perspective. So ICHQ10 Pharmaceutical Quality System 3.2.3 says below. So change management system, innovation, continuous improvement, the outputs of the pharmaceutical performance and product quality monitoring and kappa drive change. In order to evaluate and approve and implement these changes properly, a company should have effective change management system. The change management system ensures continuous improvement that is undertaken in a timely and effective manner. It should provide a high degree of assurance that there is no unintended consequences of the change. The change management system should include the following as appropriate for the stage of life cycle. So, the change management system has to include this, which is quality risk management should be utilized to evaluate the proposed changes. The level of effort and formality of the evaluation should be commensurate with the level of risk. Proposed changes should be evaluated relative to the marketing authorization document, including design space, where established or current product and process understanding. There should be an assessment to determine whether a change of the regulatory filing is required under regional requirements. I'm going to go in detail about how do we evaluate the changes and according to market authorization, which is, let's say, like there is a dossier. When we file a product to a regulatory body, it is called dossier. It could be a CTD or it could be ANDA, it could be BLA. We need to assess what is the impact of this change to the dossier that has been filed to health authority. And next one, proposed changes should be evaluated by expert teams contributing to the appropriate expertise and knowledge from relevant areas. Pharmaceutical development, manufacturing, quality, regulatory affairs, medical, pharmacovigilance, to ensure the change is technically justified. Prospective evaluation criteria for proposed change should be set. So what it says here is proposed changes need to be evaluated by a cross-functional team who are subject matter experts in that area. After implementation, an evaluation of the change should be undertaken to confirm the change objectives are achieved and there was no deleterious impact on the product quality. All right, coming to the types of change controls. Change controls are mainly divided into two types. One is a temporary change. Second one is permanent change. Temporary change is also known as a planned deviation. That means the planned deviation is typically you know that you're deviating a certain procedure or you know that you're deviating a certain batch record for a certain period of time. Instead of modifying the batch record for that duration or instead of modifying the SOP for that duration, pharmaceutical companies, what they do is they initiate a planned deviation with a justification saying that this is the SOP or this is the batch record requirement. I am deviating what batch record says or SOP says, and this is my justification to deviate. And that planned deviation will be for certain number of batches, or it could be for a certain amount of period, like for next 3 months, or it could be for this campaign, or it could be for next two campaigns of the batches manufacturing. So that is planned deviation. So permanent changes is when people refer a change control, they refer to permanent change, meaning we are permanently changing the document. Like it could be a version up of the procedure, it could be version up of the batch record, it could be version up to the specification. All these things will come under the examples of permanent changes because you're permanently changing the record or the document. There is another categorization of the change controls. It's a minor, moderate, or major. Some companies also classify the changes as minor, major, and critical. When I'm making this presentation, I have taken these definitions from FDA guidance for post-approval changes. I will put the link of that guidance into the description as well. So, according to that, what is a minor change? A minor change is a change that has minimal potential to have adverse effect on the identity, quality, purity, or potency of the drug product, as these factors may relate to safety or effectiveness of the drug product. So the same thing if the SQUIPP has a moderate impact, change has a moderate impact on the SQUIPP, that is considered as a moderate change. And let's say if the change has major or substantial potential to have adverse effect on the SQUIPP of a drug product, as these factors may relate to safety or effectiveness of the drug product, then it is a major change or a critical change. So what is SQUIPP? I put the definition here. SQUIPP stands for safety, quality, identity, potency, and purity. I think there is a typo. I need to correct it. So it is potency and purity. So SQUIPP stands for safety, quality, identity, potency, and purity. Some of the examples of the minor and moderate changes. So examples of the minor changes includes some editorial changes to the batch record, or it could be an administrative changes to the specifications or a test method or updating the method to add some clarity. Let's say human error has occurred and the method is not very clear, so then the method is updated or the batch record instructions are updated or SOP instructions are updated to give more clarity, or reorganizing the steps in a batch record, a batch manufacturing record for clarity, or adding references in the SOPs in the batch record, or it's vice versa. Sometimes some of the batch records will have the SOP references or work instruction references, and the number changes. In that scenario, those type of changes will not have major impact on the SQUIPP. So those are minor changes. Examples of the moderate changes. One of the example of moderate changes to move to a different manufacturing site for testing if the test procedures approved in the application are procedures that have been implemented via annual report are used. In other words, currently there is one testing facility doing a assay or related substances test. Now, if we want to add a secondary site to test the same material, that change can be can be considered as a moderate change. Examples of the major changes. So in this case, one example is transfer of a manufacturing of an aseptically processed sterile drug substance or aseptically processed sterile drug product, a new constructed or refurbished aseptic processing facility, or an existing aseptic processing facility or area that does not manufacture similar container types and sizes of the approved drug products. So let's say the drug product is being manufactured in one facility and that has been approved by FDA. And if you want to add a secondary manufacturing site for the same product, so that type of change would come under a major change, which requires a prior approval supplement approval from the FDA. That's one of the example. So the same case applies for drug substance, which is sterile, and the same case applies for drug product, which is sterile. Another example for a pre-approved supplement or a major change is if you want to increase the shelf life of a drug product which is previously approved by FDA. Let's say product A is approved by FDA with 18 months shelf life, and over the years you collected the data for a long-term condition for the same product A for 24 months. And if you want to increase the shelf life, that needs to be approved by the FDA. That increase in shelf life would be considered as a major change, which requires prior approval supplement from FDA. So this is an example of major change. Okay, steps of change control. The change control first step is change proposal, and second step is evaluation of the change. Third is approval of the proposed change, which is also called as pre-approval. After pre-approval, the next step is implementation of the change, and after the change is implemented, check the effectiveness of the change. That is a step 5, and the last step is change closure. Step 1, change proposal. So all changes need to be clearly documented. And what are we changing? Like changing from X to Y. Let's say you're changing a batch record, it's always important to mention what is the current version of the batch record and what is being changed. And what is the justification for that change? Or is there a study? Is there a qualification done? Sometimes is there a validation that is done to support this change? Or is there a comparative report done? Let's say the method of determining related substance has changed from one method to another method, like HPLC to UPLC. Let's say that. Then do we have the qualification document? That would be a justification. And what is the reason for change? So let's say why you're changing from HPLC to UPLC. It could be to have a faster results and reduce the runtime of each injection, right? So that is the reason for the change. Whereas the justification is I have done the analytical method validation, or I have this comparative study. So that is the justification. Step 2 is change evaluation. So changes need to be evaluated by competent professionals, subject matter experts from cross-functional teams such as quality control, validation, engineering, microbiology, regulatory, design, research and development, human resources, supply chain, legal, post-market reliability team on case-to-case basis. So does every change need to be evaluated by all these departments? No, not necessarily. So the quality along with the subject matter experts, when the change is presented, or when there is a triage, the team of subject matter experts who are competent in their field are going to evaluate the change and say who need to review this change. So that is the step 2 of change evaluation. So why this change evaluation is needed? The purpose of this evaluation is to identify what is the impact of this change and how it is impacting each department, how it is impacting the regulatory file, how it is impacting from an analysis perspective, and let's say from devices. So a design team member might assess how it is going to impact my design verification, or he may assess how it is going to impact my risk management file, or how it is impacting my do I need to do more post-market surveillance for this because of the change. So depending upon how company is structured, and depending upon the type of the change, changes need to be evaluated by subject matter experts. And as an outcome of this evaluation, every person would record who are evaluating that change, what are the actions, and the actions needs to have a due date for the implementation. We also need to have a risk assessment at times when needed on case-to-case basis. Approval of the change is the third step after the change evaluation is completed. Change needs to be approved by the quality management or designated quality personnel. So that quality person, what he would do is he looks at the change and he looks at the proposed change and looks at all the evaluations that is done by subject matter experts. And the quality management will either approve the change or reject the change. In case quality management approves the change, define the actions with due dates, define the effectiveness plan. Step 4 is implementation of the change. At this stage, change is already pre-approved and the actions are assigned to individuals responsible to complete those actions with the due dates. And once all the actions are completed, the supporting documents are attached saying that yes, I have updated the SOP, yes, I have updated the batch record, and this is the updated SOP or updated batch record or the updated specification or updated drawing, and providing evidence that it has been approved. And each action is reviewed by second person. Typically, department management or department management designee will look at the action and look at the evidence, and they approve on a paper system or electronic system by providing evidence. So step 5 is effectiveness of the change. So effectiveness change of the change is it's again case-to-case basis. So I've changed from X to Y, and is the change effective, right? So at times the effectiveness criteria of the change is written or defined before the change is implemented itself. It says like, okay, monitor 3 months after the change is implemented to see whether it is effective or not. Let's say a change has been implemented because of human error and steps are clarified in the batch record, and after the change is implemented, monitor like maybe next 10 batches or next 3 months to see like the similar deviations are initiated because the procedure is clear or not. If the similar deviations are initiated, that means the change is not effective, right? It's pretty much like kappa effectiveness too. All right, so sometimes the change effectiveness can be done with a qualification, or it can be with a case-to-case basis. Effectiveness check is At times, like effectiveness check is not needed, then it needs to be justified, like why effectiveness check is not needed. So the last step is change closure. Ensure all the actions are closed and review the evidence. So one last time, before the change control is after the change is implemented, the quality team or the designated representative needs to verify that all actions are closed and reviewed, evidence was reviewed, and once the review is completed, the record can be closed in a paper system or electronic system with an electronic signature. So this slide talks about some of the scenarios in which a change control is needed. If you like my videos so far, and if you like the content, I would ask you to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the video for more content. And also give me your feedback in the chat. Okay, so these are the scenarios typically when change control is needed. So change control is needed when a new product is introduced or any changes to the procedure. So be it an addition or modification or a deletion. Let's say we are adding something to a procedure, or we are modifying something in the procedure, or deleting something in the procedure. So addition, modification, and deletion, all these three are examples of the change. In any scenario, a change control is needed. Let's say updating a specification or a test method or a batch record update or quality document updates such as a quality manual update or quality policy update or site information file update or revising engineering drawings if a facilities and engineering is updating the drawings or pest control drawings are updated, or if you are adding some facilities such as adding a new purified water point or developify the water for injection point or adding some utilities or adding a new system, new utilities to the existing utilities. It could be addition of utilities or deletion of utilities or transfer of equipment from one facility to another facility. So that is also considered as a change. So change control can be managed with a paper system. It can be managed very well using an electronic system. These are some popular softwares for managing the changes, which includes TrackWise, Master Control, Documentum or D2, or Agile, which is Oracle-based platform. And there are many other softwares, EQMS softwares, to manage the changes in an electronic system. I've also included the references here, EU NX15, ICHQ10, FDA guidance for industry for sterile products produced by aseptic processing, 21 CFR 21100, written procedures, deviations, FDA guidance for industry, changes to an approved NDA or ANDA. I will put the links to all these guidances into the description. If you have any questions, please do post in the comment section, and I'll look at all your comments. And if you like this video, I would ask you to like the video and share to your friends and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any recommendations of which topics I should present next, please do post in the comment section. Thank you so much.